Today, dragonfly. Today we're gonna talk about anxiety in golf. Because I asked a few of you, what gives you anxiety while playing golf? And as expected, you pretty much said anywhere on the golf course. Off the tee, chipping around the green, putting. I'm gonna talk about how do you conquer anxiety from all of those things, right? And the big difference between anxiety is you could score up to 10, 15 shots better with the same skill set just by eliminating anxiety and playing smarter. I'm going through a swing change, so I don't know where this is gonna go. And that is where the anxiety starts to kick in. Left-hand side. The big thing with anxiety off the tee is just getting it off the tee. And so if I ask you, what's the difference between excitement and anxiety? The difference is the expectation of what's gonna happen, right? So what does that mean? With anxiety, you get very tense, you feel on edge, hyperventilating, right? A few different things like that. With excitement, it's the same physical symptoms, it's just the expectation is different, right? So if you think of a little kid opening a Christmas present, if you were fortunate enough for that, you know, they're giddy, they're excited, they can't sit still because they expect something good to come out of that. But if I told you there was a box of scorpions under that box, they would probably feel very anxious about opening that box. And it's the same thing with off the first tee. Oh, wow, so far left. Same thing with off the first tee, where we want to tell ourselves that I'm not anxious, I'm excited. One of the big things is the expectation of what is about to happen and what you're telling yourself what is about to happen. And most of the time I hear with golfers is either negative talk, I think this bad thing is gonna happen, or, which may be equally as bad, is I don't know where this is gonna go, right? So they get into the bunker and they think, I don't know how to hit a bunker shot. That's all you're thinking. I don't know how to hit a bunker shot. Last time I hit a bunker shot, I topped it, it went, you know, straight back in the bunker, a lot of different things. So there's a lot of negative self-talk about the expectation of what's gonna happen. You're thinking about the outcome before you even hit the shot, as opposed to thinking about, well, what do I need to do right here? So I'm thinking, I need to get it up over this hill onto this bunker. I don't know how the sands are playing today. They feel a little firm. I'm just gonna do my same normal thing. And there we go. We're on the green and we're putting, because I told myself what I needed to do. I didn't know how it was going to end up, but it didn't matter because I was expecting the outcome to be good. And I swung what I have done before that has gotten me out of the bunker before. So if you do that, start telling yourself, I want this to happen. This is going to be the result of what's gonna happen. Now, just because you have an expectation of something happening, or it did not go the way that you want it to go, we don't want our mind to run wild. I'll talk a little bit how to stop that a little bit more, or you can watch the previous videos. But I want to think, what do I want this ball to do? It's looking like a lot of break. I don't know, I haven't hit one putt today, but I'm going to trust in myself to make the right decision. I'm going to expect the ball to run up and break into the hole, and I'm going to hit the putt thinking only about that. I'm going to visualize that perfect outcome. Didn't break as much, it was a good putt, right? But I don't want to be mad with that because the expectation, because the outcome did not go the way that I wanted. You have a visualization of how I want things to go. That doesn't necessarily mean that things are gonna go that way, which is fine. That's golf. You shouldn't expect to play one of the hardest games on the planet and things to always go your way. That's kind of delusional thinking. But just because things start to not go your way, the expectation of what I wanted to happen didn't match up with what did happen, that does not mean I need to focus on that. I don't want to beat myself up because of that. You always want to accept the results of what just happened in golf. Bad swing, okay, it's okay, right? Good swing, great, it's okay. Bad result, okay, it's okay, right? But we want to expect the best, and only think about the best, right? right? So I'm into the wind, it's 205 yards. I can easily get into my head of thinking, I'm not gonna get this there, this is gonna be the worst. I'm going to shank it into the woods. If I'm feeling like that, one, I don't wanna use the club that is causing me to think that way. I wanna use a club that I feel confident in hitting 9 out of 10 times where I wanna put this ball. So it's 205 yards into the wind. I should probably aim to try to hit it out there 180 yards, right? Because I'm not gonna hit, you know, a strong 4-iron that accurate right now because I'm going through a swing change. But I wanna leave this in a good position, confident position, and be happy with that. I don't want to think what could go wrong off this tee shot on this par 3, right? So one thing that you probably don't wanna do is think, always land it on the par 3, right? Par 3s are not easy. They're some of the hardest holes in golf, and you should play accordingly. So I want you to try to think, what can I do here to put me in the best position so I don't fall into a negative spiral? If I'm confident on getting into the green, it's 100 yards, 150 yards, great. Aim for that, go for the green. If it's 205 yards into the wind, relax, right? Tell yourself that it's okay. Not many people on this planet are going to be able to hit this shot, and that's fine. I'm in the left. I think I came over the top. I should be fine. I should be safe over there. I'm gonna hit another one just for practice. But because I hit that shot, you'll hear many people just go, ugh, you know, because they already thinking the worst. They think I suck, and they start to spiral out of control. Nah, we don't wanna do that. We wanna say, hey, it's not lost, and even if it is lost, I'll drop it and I'll play another one. Oh, that's so spinny, but it's so dead straight. Okay, you hit a bad shot, and now you are in a tough position to get up and down. Well, don't think about getting up and down, think about this shot only. One thing with anxiety, and mental health in general, but with anxiety is thinking about something that made you anxious before can leave you feeling anxious now in the present. So if I am thinking about how did I shank that off the tee over there, right? I didn't, but if I'm thinking about, damn, I suck, I shanked it off the tee, I played so bad, I'm going to put myself in a negative emotional state right here when that already happened 5 minutes ago. Well, 2 minutes ago. But I need to focus on what do I need to do right here, right? So if you wanna think of the analogy of don't think about a polar bear. If I tell you to not think about a polar bear, you're gonna think about a polar bear. If I think about don't shank it, I'm gonna shank it. I wanna think about a polar bear with a Coca-Cola and a smile on his face and hit it onto the green. Now this is a tough shot, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm telling myself that's what I wanna do, and I'm gonna swing on that's what I'm going to do. And look at that. Oh, that could go in. Okay, it ran okay, it just kept running. Fast greens, but it came out great. Even if I hit a good shot that didn't get the best result of what I want, I don't want to think, oh, you know, I should have been, if I hit that 10 more yards up, I would have been great. If I hit that 20 yards up, it would have been perfect, right? Because you're already putting yourself into a negative position as opposed to starting to think about what do I need to do here? And then anxiety from thinking about what I could have done is going to travel over into right now, right? Because my mind is going to be 2 minutes back as opposed to in the present. Ooh, that's fluke. It's very easy to let your mind run for every single shot that you're going to have to hit on the golf course. These are very short chips right here. And if anything, if you could putt it, just putt it. If not, don't think about sculling it over the green. I want to think about just tapping it onto the green. These are very short chips right here. And if anything, if you could putt it, just putt it. If not, don't think about sculling it over the green. I want to think about just tapping it onto the green, right? I don't care if that went 2 feet, I got it out of that rough, right? The worst case scenario is me way back down there. Best case scenario is in the hole. I don't need any of those to get it into a putting area. Over here with the long putt, you don't need to tell yourself to make it. You just need to tell yourself to get it to the hole, right? All I wanted to think about is what do I need to do this putt, not what am I going to make if I make this putt, or what am I going to make if I miss this putt. Most players, even professionals, don't have the mental strength to constantly beat themselves up or think about their score of, if I miss this, I'm getting a double bogey. because especially for professional players, there's a lot more money on the line. For you, it's not money on the line, so you shouldn't even be thinking about that, but you will, and that's okay. If you have the mental fortitude to think, hey, if I miss this, I'm gonna get a double bogey. You know, if I shank this into the woods, where am I gonna drop? I can beat myself up all day and not worry about it. If you can do that, you do you, man. Most people can't, and that's okay, right? We shouldn't be doing that in the first place. All I wanna think about is, what do I need to do right here? I don't wanna think about, I've been missing left all day, don't miss it into the woods. I can use that information of, okay, I missed it left all day, I want to hit it to the right. But it's a big difference from talking about don't miss it left into the woods versus aim to the right. It's very subtle, but it's a huge difference, and it's a huge difference on how you're gonna think. We already have enough thoughts going through our mind, the average person, that we don't need to think about what I don't need to do. The other thing that you could do, cheat code, is use the line on the ball to aim where you want the ball to go, right? So that's my start line of where I want it to go. And because of that, I don't need to think about alignment. I don't need to think about where am I hitting the ball. I'm just thinking about swinging through the ball at that point. Now watch this drive. That should be perfect. Oh, maybe a little left. I don't know, we'll find it. You hit a good drive. Now you have a wedge in your hand, a short iron. You get over the ball, and then you immediately top it, maybe 50 yards. Oh, and then you beat yourself up and you fucking suck, and it's just a mess in your head, right? Partially, that could be a bad lie, that could be a skill issue, that could be a million different things that could go wrong, but it also could be anxiety, right? And it could be your expectations of, I need to land this close because it's such an easy shot after I hit a great drive, right? So I hit a 280-yard drive, I have a pitching wedge in my hand, I'm like, okay, I should be able to land this on the green and pretty close. And I'm already thinking, I have a birdie chance in my mind, right? I'm not thinking of, well, what do I need to do for this shot? And let my body take over on the actual swing. I'm thinking I need to land this on because I hit such a great drive, I want to follow it up with another great shot. I don't want to think that. I just want to think, what do I need to do right here? I need to hit this 140 yards, maybe a little bit less, it's into the wind. I want to aim for the green, obviously, and we'll go from there. So don't think about, because I hit a good drive, I need to hit a good shot here. Just think about, the ball's here, what do I need to do right here? Small, subtle difference, but it makes the world of change. A little long. But let's say hypothetically, you did duff your second shot after a great drive. What I don't want to be thinking about is, damn, I really need to land it on now, right? Because that's adding more pressure onto yourself, more expectations, more anxiety. Once again, you want to think about, all right, always check your yardages. That's the other thing that I see with people is they'll get a wedge in their hand and they don't know how far it is. And you can't expect to hit a good shot without knowing how far it is. You can get the feel, but most people probably would do better with just knowing how far it is. So at least in your mind, I can visualize a 95-yard shot, right? I don't need to think, is it 70 yards? And then I hit it 70 yards and it's short. I'm like, well, what happened? This is because you were thinking, the wrong number. So hypothetically, I duffed that shot. I don't want to think I need to land this on because otherwise I'm going to get a double bogey. I just want to think I have a 94-yard shot. Let's hit this 94 yards. Oh, it's a little short to the right. But let's talk about these easy shots around the green, right? So this is another case where people start thinking, I need to hit this close because it's quote unquote an easy shot. Well, it's not necessarily an easy shot, it's just one more shot that we need to hit, right? We could think off the tee is an easy shot, we could think approach shots, putts, it doesn't really matter. We think this is an easy shot, so I should get it close. It's a should statement. We want to eliminate those from our vocabulary. All I want to think about is, what do I need to do to hit this shot to where I want it? I would like to hit it close. I would always like to get the ball within 10 feet, right? That's not, maybe correlating to my skill level. I want to think, how do I get this as close to the pin as possible and as confident shot as possible. So if I'm not confident with chipping off the green, don't chip off the green, use a putter. If you are confident with chipping off the green, pull out that wedge and hit the chip. Now this is a slightly longer putt, but it still holds the same principle of, all right, I don't want to think about, damn, this is a long chip, this is a long putt, because it's literally on the opposite end. All I want to think about is, how do I get the ball down there? I want to envision a big hula hoop around the pin and try to get this to that hula hoop. The way you envision things changes a lot of how you think about where the ball is going to go. If I'm envisioning a big hoop around the pin, it's going to be easier for me to land the ball there. If I'm thinking about the pin looks so small from back there, I'm not going to be able to get it into the hole because it's so tiny, right? Now I'm just thinking about, oh, that pin is the hole is so small, I'm never going to make this. I don't need to think that way. I need to think about a big old hoop around the pin, around the hole, and putt it to a gimme range, because you're going to give yourself those putts anyway, right? Boom, right close by, that's fine, right? This one, I'm a little bit closer, so I can think about making it, right? I want to use the read on the ball, hit the putt, and make the putt. Simple as that. Golf Sidekick talks a lot about the stats about putting and the expectation of what you can do with those stats, right? And it's very valuable, because if I'm putting from 4 feet away, yeah, you want to go make that. If I'm putting from 8 feet away, I want to try to make it, but I don't want to expect to make it because it's very far away. But I'll still talk about short putts. Welcome to a par 5, which is a high handicapper's nightmare. And I'm going to tell you why. One, there's too many expectations that you hear bad players talk about, and we're all bad players, but you hear too many expectations about how I want this to go, but in a bad way, right? Because it's a par 5, it's going to take me 3 shots to get there, but I want to, or I'm telling myself to expect to get there in 2. That's not the reality unless it's a short par 5. For most players, it's going to be a 3 shot, right? Even if you somehow can get there in 2, you're still probably going to be inaccurate enough and be around the green. So what you don't want to do on a par 5 is step up here, think it's a par 5, let me rip it. Unless it's wide open and you can miss left, you can miss right. Why? Because one, you don't hit it 300 yards. I know you think, because one time I hit it way up high and it went over the trees, that looked like 300 yards. It wasn't. It was probably around 240, and it ballooned up because it had too much spin and it just went out of bounds, but because it went over the trees, it looked like it went really far. It didn't. You're not gonna hit it 300 yards. If you can hit it 300 yards, great. If you can do that dead straight, swing up, go do your thing. If you don't know where this club is going, put it back in the bag. Get a 5-wood, hit a long iron off the tee. If you know where this is going, don't try to rip it. Try to hit it, around 70%, so you can keep it in the fairway. If you don't know where it's going, but you want to hit the driver. I'm going through a swing change right now, but I still have a pretty good idea of where my miss is. My miss is left, and sometimes I push it right. So I'm gonna aim for the right side, and I'm going to just try to keep it in play. I'm not thinking about a number, I'm thinking about accuracy. Stop thinking about numbers off the tees and start thinking about accuracy and where I want to land this as opposed to how far I want to land this. Now watch this drive. Perfect, in the fairway. I'm gonna hit one more, I'm gonna try to hit a fade. Nope. I spoke about this in a previous video where you should try to swing easier, right? Because by doing a full swing, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself for everything to go right, as opposed to a partial swing, a lot of things can go right? Because you can better strike the center of the face. So you don't have to think about full swinging and things falling out of balance, and you are now, shaking it way over or out there. So I'm gonna take 2 different shots. One, much more full swing, and then 2, a much more smoother partial swing. So I didn't hit that perfectly, right? It went under. The distance is good, but I left it out to the right. So let's talk about the anxiety of short putts. I'm talking within like 10 feet, right? Because most people will feel like, all right, this is a makeable distance. And it is, that's the good news. However, statistically, we're not gonna get into that. Leave that for Golf Sidekick. But he talks a lot about how the stats-wise aren't in your favor of hitting these putts. That's one thing you need to remember is I want to make this putt, not I expect to make this putt. And the difference is one word, however, it changes the way that you were thinking about hitting this putt. So this is probably like a 7-foot putt. One, obviously I want to use the line, right? If you use the line, I spoke about it in another video. If you use the line, you eliminate half of the putting process. I use the line, I set the line, I don't need to think about anything else. I don't need to be anxious about where's this ball going because I already set the line. All I need to think about is hitting the speed of what I need to hit this putt, right? So I already eliminated one factor of putting. That is reading the line. You can all talk about like, reading breaks and everything like that, but all I'm talking about is I set the line, I already read the line. All I need to do is hit it. And now when I'm standing over the ball, all I need to think about is how far do I need to hit this? 10 feet. I'm eliminating everything else, such as thinking about what if I miss this? It's so easy, it's so short, everyone's gonna make fun of me. I can think, all right, I'm gonna make this and I'm gonna, look like a god, but all I wanna think about is hitting the pace of this putt. I read the line, I set the line, I have the line on my putter matching that line, and I'm gonna swing through that line. And by doing that, I missed it. But by doing that, I'm going to make the putt. That was still a good putt. It rolled over the edge, and I didn't really try to set the line. Now, if we take a few feet back, say 10 feet, and a lot of people get nervous over this because they think don't 2-putt or 3-putt, and potentially they put it from back there, and now they're thinking don't miss this putt. Don't think that, right? Because you're already getting in your head about what is going to happen. All I want to think about is I set the line, now I need to hit my target, hit the distance, putt the distance. Don't putt it into the hole, putt the distance, because I already set the line. The line is going to go put the ball in the hole. All I need to do is push it that far. It broke a little bit, but that's not the point, right? The point is you want to get to the point where all you're thinking about is distance and not accuracy. The accuracy part is me setting this line right here. I got a 4-footer, right, to make par. No one's giving it to me. All I need to think about is this line good? I'm looking over this line, it doesn't feel good. Okay, readjust the line. Don't worry about taking time. It takes more time to 2 and 3 putt than it does to set the line in 1 putt. I set the line. I want to eliminate all the bad thoughts about, well, what happens if this goes wrong? I set the line, I know the ball is going to go to the hole. All I need to do now is to push it to the hole. And then you're good to go. I know this one is going to go right here. It's 2 feet. All I need to think about is pushing it to the hole. The line is going to do the rest. I don't need to think about the accuracy. All I need to do is think about the distance. If you watch the other video about me saying, imagine yourself playing a scramble with yourself. One person is aligning the ball to the hole and the other person is hitting the ball. Only think about hitting the ball after you already aligned it. Anyway, that's the video on getting anxiety around the green. Well, getting anxiety around the course. We're gonna have another video coming out about getting over the social anxiety aspect and some of the performance anxiety aspect, or just getting into golf and getting over that anxiety. So if you want to, comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And tell me what you think. Tell me if there's still some anxiety that I didn't talk about that you get on the course, and I will comment back, trying to help you out. Anyway, until next time.